People of the world. My name is Ayana, and I am going to be doing, for today, I'm going to be doing some ranting. So, yesterday while at work, I had a customer. He's a regular, he normally does come into where I work. And he was really rude. Now, this job that I just started, I love it. I love it to death. I wish that they would pay me a little bit more because it is a pay cut from what my previous job had. But my other job, I had to get out of there. Like, it was crazy. And then now that I quit, like, I went back there and I have like a couple of friends that still work there. They're like, dude, we're so glad that you quit because it's really bad. So this customer in my new job, he comes in all the time. And he's really rude. Yeah, I think he was rude to me like on my first or second day there. He gets really frustrated with me because he asks me something and he's like, and I need this, and I need this, and I need that, and I need that. So, as usual, I repeated so that I can make sure that that was exactly what he needed. He's like he's giving me that, didn't I just say that? I don't want to say I have a comprehension problem, but I just like to, at times, when it comes to somebody's stuff, I like to repeat things. I go to check something and he tells me that if you have to do this, then you shouldn't be working here at this job. So I go, hold on, and I ask my supervisor if she can, help him. And I'm like, she'll be right with you. And I'm really kind about it. Then she goes, what did you do to him? He's harmless. I'm like, what did I do to him? He's been mean to me ever since I've gotten here. I didn't say that to her, but I kind of gave her that look like, bitch, what? But to make a long story short, when you are at work, especially if you're in retail, especially if you have to deal with the public, I feel like this is in general because I feel like there are a lot of jobs, regardless of what you're doing, you have to deal with some type of public. Rather it's on the phone, it's telemarketing, it's banking, it's, mall shopping, it's, you have to deal with the public. Hospitals. In all honesty, maybe like 5 years ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago, I would have said, looky here, sir, you B-word. If you don't like what I'm doing, don't come here because I'm going to be here for a long time, okay? Or I would have said, sir, you know what? I just fucking worked here. I just got here. I would have gotten all in his face. But since I just started the job like a month ago, and being professional, I didn't do that. I assisted him to my manager. And from now on, when he comes in, he will go to my manager because in all honesty, it's weird that when his wife comes in, she's really nice, but he's mean. But it's crazy because they never stand together when they're doing stuff. But it just lets me know, and it brings me to the realization that when people are being really ignorant to you, no matter how hard you try, always remember that person, you don't have to take them home with you at the end of the day. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to tolerate their crap, but that's just one of the things that I have to remind myself when I'm dealing with people who are being either ignorant or they're just displaying themselves in a manner where it's making me uncomfortable. And I was thinking about it because, when my manager came up to me like, what did you do to him? She was joking, but it was like, I didn't do anything. You know that he's been mean to me ever since he's gotten here because he doesn't want to deal with the fact that he thinks that I don't know what I'm doing. And it's not that I don't know what I'm doing. It's just that I want to ask you because I want to clarify that we're putting it in even if I ask you 5 times because it's a situation for security purposes where I feel as though I need to do that. And at my old job, I feel like customers were rude because it's in the same area. And I don't want to say the area has a lot to do with the customers that I have, but it's just, people are rude in general. And it just made me realize that life is too short to be getting upset and getting angry over stupid crap. So you know what? My motto for today is if you don't like them, don't worry about them. You don't have to take their crap. But at the end of the day, you got to think you don't have to take those people who are being negative and ignorant, you don't have to take them home with you. It should have been my motto for my boyfriends, but it wasn't. I didn't have to always take them home with me, but I did have to deal with them at the end of the day. And that's the thing about marriage and all that other commitment relationship shit, you got to deal with it. But when it comes to, and that's another thing I was telling my friend. She works at, I don't know if any of you guys can relate to what I'm saying, and I'm ranting about this because I was just talking to my friend. She is from Maryland. She's from PG County. It's like DC, Maryland. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like it's like DC, Maryland. It's in between. She had to move to Atlanta abruptly. And, she's been, even when she was here, she was going to school, but she was always working restaurant jobs. Now, those restaurant jobs it depends on where you're working, but it just seems like it's always the same people as far as employees, as far as people that, come in there. It just seemed like it's the same. And I think half of all of my friends have worked, the little bit of friends that I do have, they have worked in restaurants to pay off loans. And, it helps them. The tips help. One of my, ex-boyfriends, he works in the restaurant that my friend worked at. They worked at the same restaurant. And their manager, he sucked. He wouldn't let them leave. They had to leave at a certain time. And it sucked because sometimes I'd be waiting for him. And I would literally call my friend. I'm like, what is he doing? She's like, I just left, but he's waiting there because the manager said he can't leave because yada, yada, yada. And then it seems like the coworkers there, everybody's drinking and partying, which is none of your business because, once again, you don't have to take those people home with you unless you're sleeping with them. But where she worked, she needs to come back to Maryland because her mom is not doing very well. And when she was in Maryland, all of her mom's doctors are here. Then she told me, she said, well, I'm supposed to be coming there next week, but I have a feeling that my manager's not going to let me. And I said, why? You've been there for a year. Why would he not let you? And your mom's sick. It's not like you're coming here to play. And I said, even if you were, you have a life. Like, that's not your career. She said, I don't know. They act like they have a problem when it comes time for me to take off. And I said, at my previous job, they did that too because they were understaffed. And even at my new job, they don't have a problem with it, but you have to let them know because they're understaffed. But my manager, she's like the best manager in the world. She will work out something with you because she has a family. And, she will work something out with you because she believes how I believe. You have a life outside of this job. Even if it's your career, you have a life outside of what you do, and you are allowed. And I kind of got upset because I said, your mom is sick, and God forbid anything happens to her and you're not here with her, because you got to work. So she told me a week later, after talking to her, she told me that she was actually going to find another job because she doesn't like the way they've been treating her in the past, and it seems like they've been unappreciative. And I can understand where that comes from because I work at a job where I have a pay cut because of where my previous employer, the manager there, she sucked. She really did. Where I am, it is strict because my manager, she's, from the old school. So she believes in and that's not old school, but just, when it comes to the dressing and the being professional. My supervisor, she's strict too, but she is in the same age that I'm in. So she is a bit more lenient than my manager, the manager on top. And my manager on top is like that because she has a manager on top of her. So it's just like, it's a little bit more lenient where I work because I feel like it's a family environment. Where my friend works, it's not like that. Everybody's, spreading rumors. I don't know how many times she's called me and she's had a problem with this person. And I'm surprised because she's like she's the sweetest girl in the world. And she barely ever talks. She literally doesn't talk. You have to pinch her to get something out of her. But, sorry, my wardrobe is a mess right now. But, these jobs where you're not making that much money, to make a long story short, they expect so much out of you. And customers are so shitty. You just have to remind yourself, it's just a job. I have to remind myself that every day. Sometimes I even pray. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just a job. And my friend, she told me that she's going to be quitting her job because, she just doesn't like the fact that she feels as though she can't have a life. And I think it comes down to the point where it's like her mom is sick and she's looking at it like how I'm looking at it. God forbid if something happens to my mom again and you guys say, no, you can't do that. You can't have off. It's like, what? So I'm just ranting about that today because, I'm in a little bit of a situation where I feel like I've only had 2 jobs in my life, to be actually 3, but that one was years ago. And I feel like a lot of these places, even when you get in your career, my advice to people is don't let people think that you don't have a life. I don't know if there's anybody else who's going to be looking at this video, and it gets to the point where I don't even care because it's just a rant. Don't let anybody ruin your life, regardless of it being, even if it's a career. Have a life outside of what you do. You are allowed to do that. Even if you are allowed to do that. It's just called a balance. You just got to balance it out. You are allowed to have a life outside of your career, regardless of what put foods on the table. I took I was getting paid a certain amount, and then I didn't get paid that amount anymore. And it affects me sometimes, but it's funny because I seen an old employee. She was like, "Are you happy now?" And I was like, "You know what? Things are a little bit rough right now, but I am not as frustrated as I was when I worked there." So have a life outside of what you do because you are allowed. That's going to be my motto for today. I'm Ayana Payton. See you next time.